Hello gamers, I'm not gonna lie to you, my eyes feel like they are falling out of the sockets. So today, we're gonna go full on gamer mode. It's Ask Hippo, March edition. The usual, any of the usuals will know, Wagwan. Twitter, I was like, use the hashtag, ask me things. I'll answer all the things. So we've got a range of questions today. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna answer the rest of them on Twitter. So if you're not already following me on Twitter, smash. If you're not already subscribed to me, smash. If you're not already interested in my Patreon, I would suggest you go look over there. We've got stickers and clothing merch is happening exclusive to Patreon.
Right, boys and girls, I think we should start with the first question.
Oh. Since 2020 is the year of the gamer, what will 2021 be? Quite interesting you mentioned that, because me and Nine have actually already planned what 2021 is going to be. Now, I can't really tell you in today's video, but just know 2021 is most certainly the year of the... Slow is asking, are you still holding that Potoni? The next question comes from... How would your ultimate racing game be like? Which features would you pick from which game? Oh, it's really annoying because I tweeted something like this the other day, but my tweets, they just go one in one ear and then they come out the other. So I think physics would be Forza Horizon. I really like the physics in Forza Horizon. I think that's sick. Customization from Need for Speed. Multiplayer from Burnout Paradise. And story from Need for Speed The Run. I really enjoyed playing the Run story the other day in the drunk stream. I am literally 4.5 hours into this stream and I am fucked. Wasn't fun in the morning, working with a banging headache, but something across those lines, I feel like that would be a really cool idea. Need for Speed's customization and Forza's physics with everything else I just mentioned. Multiplayer from Burnout, that would be hard. I'd love to see that. We also got a few The Crew 2 questions, quite surprisingly enough. I'm gonna sneeze. Make sure to cover your nose if you sneeze. So I actually asked these questions like last week before the Crew 2 update came out, but this question comes from Everyday Geek 1, and his question is, what do you think the Crew 2 needs to add in order to bring players back to the game? Now, I do really like the last update. I like the fact the physics changes. I've not made a video solely talking about the physics changes and all that kind of stuff, but a lot of stuff has actually changed with the Crew 2 in its last update. The game was dead up until that point. It was just dormant. No one was playing it. You know, if it's going to retain its player base over time, no one really knows. But this next update has definitely brought me back. I still think we need an expansion, you know, similar to the Wild Run, or to the same scale of the Wild Run, but for the Crew 2. You know, stuff that adds replayability, adds things to do, you know, just makes the game a bit more fun. And it would be really nice if the grinding was a little bit less than it is at the moment. I don't have so much of a problem with that, because the Crew 1 had a big grind and I really enjoyed that as well. I think what they did with the recent update would have it's just enough. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's more cars, it's physics changes, like it's just enough to kind of entice the wider fan base. But going forward, I would like to see something really interesting. I've always wanted Ivory to do a map expansion, so something across those lines, that would be sick. Not much has necessarily changed with their core vision. I still think they're just doing what they want to do. They're not really listening to people that much, and that's not a problem. If you have a vision and, you know, it's your game, then you do what you want to do. And I've accepted at this point that the Crew is never going to be, you know, or not in this game cycle anyway, it's never going to be like it was in the Crew 1. But, you know, the car focused in this specific patch and update and stuff, I'm really enjoying what they've brought so far. I'm hoping that the car focus continues as we go forward. The next question comes from Real Core, and his question is, if you had the chance to buy an R32 GTST, would you get it immediately or save up some more for a GTR instead? So the reason why I added this question is because I get his loads in streams. Check out my Twitch, links down in the description. Boom, boom, boom. So I actually don't want an R32 GTR anymore. For people that have been watching on the Twitch, you'll know that. My idea of my dream Nissan R32 has changed. Essentially what I'm going to do is probably going to get a rear-wheel drive GTR, essentially. So that means I'm going to get a GTST, and then basically stuff an R34 engine in it and make it a rear-wheel drive road GTR, cruise machine, road hoon, horny hoon boy, leather interior, all that shit. That's my vibe. I don't know, I just prefer rear-wheel drive. I prefer the drivetrain over all-wheel drive. Also a little bit easier to do skid, all of that, a little bit more playful. I've never driven an R32 in real life. I've only driven in simulators and stuff. I can only imagine what it's like in real life. I'm sure it's a very different experience. But I just prefer rear-wheel drive from the cars I have driven in real life. So I think rear-wheel drive is definitely my drivetrain of choice. And obviously the R32 GTST, you stick an R34 engine in it, it's like, it would just be ridiculous. It's basically the GTR without the all-wheel drive element, and normally anyway, so yeah, that is the vibe, I think. Before then though, like, I think I'm probably gonna get one more car before then, and I've been thinking about a Clio 187 instead of the 197. It's on the list. I'm always thinking, hopefully after Modelo, sorry, I'm gonna have to bleep that out. Hopefully car prices go down and I can afford a nice conditioned 187 trophy. Donnie2K has asked me what are my wishes and expectations for the next Need for Speed game. That's an interesting question because my wishes are one thing and my expectations are another thing. My expectations is like a polar opposite to what my wishes are. My expectation is to have it's definitely going to be better than anything Ghost have made, purely based off the fact it's a bigger studio. I think the game's going to be on next gen, so that probably means that it's going to be on PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5, that kind of generation of things. I am just hoping that it's a competent Need for Speed game that lasts longer than 4 months. That's all I'm hoping. My wish is I could talk for days about things I want to see in Need for Speed game, but I'm not expecting any of that, and I feel like, you know, if you guys want to hear what I would want to be in a Need for Speed game, I can make videos about that, but I don't have any expectation of any of that being there. But yeah, my expectation, just a game that we can play for longer than 4 months without, you know, people starting to mod it for their own fun. DivJobMan asks, nostalgia aside, pick either Midnight Club or Underground style Need for Speed games. Think about what represents street racing, what makes you feel like you're street racing, what functions as a game regardless of street racing, etc. There's a lot of things to consider. This is a pretty easy one for me. Midnight Club, especially in the earlier games, 1 to 3 anyway, they messed around with a lot of ideas but didn't really polish a lot of them. Underground 1, Underground 2, Most Wanted, and even Carbon to a certain extent, although I'm going to leave that one out just because I didn't really play enough of that, you know, in my childhood. Those 3 games, they were polished experiences, it was dialed in, it was focused, as where Midnight Club was a bit all over the place until LA. So for that reason, I'm going to say Underground style street racing games from the early mid-2000s, Need for Speed, that was where it's at over Midnight Club. Sorry, Midnight Club people, I do like Need for Speed. I know I've been chatting shit about Heat, but I do like the series. Underground 1, Underground 2, Most Wanted, for me, over the Midnight Club series. We then go on to LA, and LA was a bit of an outlier, but if we're talking about the whole series, it's got to be the Underground style golden Need for Speed games for me. Midnight Club LA by itself could be better than Most Wanted and Underground 2 and Underground. I might enjoy Midnight Club LA more than those games, to be honest, but that's a different story for a different day. That wasn't the question. Squeak asks, is it still the year of the gamer? Yes. And the final question comes from Adrian. It's about the Crew 2 and its most recent update. Does it revive the game or is it too late? Now, when I said in the title of the video I made about the update, it's game changing. It is game changing. It changes the physics. It does a whole bunch of things that I didn't talk about in that video specifically, which I probably should have mentioned. But does it revive it? You know, is this update going to have lasting effects? I still think, going back to what I said earlier, the Crew 2 needs some type of Wild Run-esque update to really go forward. The summits will last, you know, for however long they're going for. But, you know, I do think a big expansion needs to come at some point during this year to keep people engaged, keep people coming back. There just needs to be things to do, end game, and then it's all how they, you know, drip-free content that isn't already in the game, it's how they continue to support the game over a longer period of time like Forza's done, which I guess only time can tell with that, really. But I'm hopeful. I think the Crew 2 is, out of all the games, the comeback kid of this year for racing games. Everything else is kind of a little bit shit. Even Forza, like, I really wish they added more modes. Don't get me wrong, it's still my racing game of the generation, all of that. But I do wish there was just a little bit more that they were doing to kind of keep us engaged. But then again, that's me nitpicking with Forza because there's already so much to do. Anyway, that's it from your boy. Clout glasses off. I will see you guys in the next one. You guys have been awesome. Stay safe and